I've just written a book called Warnings, which is available on Amazon, in which I look at 14 case studies across a whole variety of disciplines, asking why didn't people pay attention when an expert gave a warning that later turned out to be true. And I have a little methodology for figuring out which experts are likely to be true. The bottom line is this happens in every field of endeavor. That you miss warnings. There are institutional settings that look for warnings. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. This one, I think people can be forgiven for not seeing coming.
General Hayden, you were warning before the election about the prospect of the Russians influencing these.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you conceptualize the kind of
No,
sort of attack
your
reporting?
Your reporting suggests to me that they had gotten their game to a point beyond which I had assumed. Yeah, all right. So let's parse out what happened. They stole the data. All right. I think that's general agreement. That's a baby step. But by the way, I got to tell you, stealing the DNC emails, okay, hacking into that is actually honorable international espionage. All right. All countries do that. All right. If
Including ours? Would we do that?
Yeah, if I were director of NSA and we could penetrate United Russia, which is Putin's party, and we actually really cared what they said, that would be a legitimate foreign intelligence target.
Speaking.
Yes, yeah. It would be a legitimate target under accepted international practice. What happens next then, all right, that's the big deal. That's the term we've been using, is weaponizing the information. So it's WikiLeaks, it's DC leaks, it's pushing it forward. Okay, that's kind of linear. I'd kind of expect that. Then the army of trolls who touch the data, all right, and who kind of convince the Google algorithms that these stories are trending. Whoa, no, wow. That's not linear. That's a discontinuity. That's getting more interesting. And now what your stories are reporting is micro-targeting of specific groups in the American electoral process. Whoa. All right? I mean, you can see the revelations growing here that sophistication of the Russian effort was, I think, far greater than even, I've talked to John Brennan and Jim Clapper. They kind of got wind of, this isn't right, about April, May. It was different of a kind than we've seen in the past. By August, they were urgent, okay? That this is different in scale, it's different in style, and it's different in that it's approved at the highest level of the Russian Federation. They had a little trouble getting the political attention that they needed, because frankly it forced the president with a really ugly decision. All right, and
it never happened before.
Yeah, and the instinct is, well, make sure you're really sure before you force an ugly decision on me, so you lose some time. So in August, John gets to throw a brushback pitch at Bortnikov, who is his counterpart, saying knock this off. September, the president does the verbal warning to Putin at the G20, and then in October, Jim Clapper and Jay Johnson go out with the kind of the facts of the case. But even the facts of that case don't get to what it is you're now reporting.
Right. It's true.
But if you look back for the warning,
yep.
I think the warning was in, again, American journalism. Great piece in 2015 in another newspaper,
Yes.
Sunday Magazine.
Very good piece.
About the Internet Institute in Petersburg. And a fascinating story about the trolls, about the bots. And the key to this story was that the Internet Institute in Petersburg had run a story in US social media that a refinery had blown up in Louisiana. And it was very well done, very convincing, looked like CNN stories and whatnot. And of course, the refinery had not blown up. And the article asked, why would they have done that? Why would they have tried to convince people that a refinery had blown up in Louisiana? And I remember sitting at the dining room table on a Sunday, looking at that story and saying, this is an important story, and I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why Russia would want to convince people that a refinery had blown up in Louisiana, but we need to keep thinking about this. And then I forgot about it.